Today's Republic is brought to you by Audible. Go to gboffer.com/audible to get a free book.
Game Breaker TV.
You are watching the first and longest running new media broadcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Welcome to Game Breakers The Republic. You will never need to listen to any other Old Republic podcast ever again. Oh, who were they kidding? They're just a bunch of nerds geeking out about the Old Republic on the internet. But here's your host, having a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. It's Larry Everett.
Hey everyone, this is Larry Everett, and you are watching the 197th episode of The Republic, and today is January 15th, 2015, and today we're going to talk about the real expansion of 3.0, you know, the real launch of it, because it didn't happen whenever it actually launched, and we're also going to talk about 2 community cantinas, not just 1, 2. But first, let me introduce my host today, my guest host today. We have from the Bad Feeling podcast, and buried behind his beard, we have Chuck. How's it going, Chuck?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Excellent. And also from the Bad Feeling podcast as well, we have Brian. What's going on, Brian?
That's me. Hey, happy to be here. Glad it's Thursday.
So, and I see that you're not buried in Chuck's beard today. That's
not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Give it time. The Twitterverse will take over at some point.
Yeah, eventually. Let me turn this thing down a little bit. So there we go. So wow, we have a good show today. We have some stuff to talk about. 3.0.2 came out, which is pretty much like what launch was supposed to be. Would you agree with me that this is kind of what launch was supposed to be, without some of the bugs and stuff? I know. Unfortunately, all the bugs aren't fixed, but many of them were. And let's see. But first, the thing. You know what? I'm going to show before I. This is real professional on me here. I'm going to go over to Dolphy.net, because while we're talking about this, one of the things that that they launched as well is with this new patch is the Acolyte Shadow Pack, and Dolphy has a preview of it. And while we're talking about this, we can show off some of the amazing outfits that they got this time around. Ooh. So, but one of the first things that I noticed whenever I was doing my weekly, actually, whenever this thing launched, besides getting an extra Rishi idol, which is cool, that was great.
Welcome to the Shadow of Heaven.
I got when I did the weekly, the Spirit of Cooperation, which is you do 8 of the Yavin daily missions, you get an armor set for your companion, which is awesome, actually. I mean, I like getting armor for my companions. Companion armor is pretty difficult to come by sometimes, because it doesn't always match up exactly the way that you want it to, as far as if you were to get, you know, let's say for your healer, you know, getting the operative set isn't necessarily the best all the time. But so it was really cool to get that. But then I realized that when I completed this the first time, or the first time on a character, that my companion now has better armor than I do.
Right. Right.
What's up with that? How do you?
Well, I think what happened to me, like what was happening to me, was I bounced a character up, and I was bombing those solo flashpoints, you know, trying to get through a blood hunt or whatever, and I was having trouble bouncing through them. And I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot to look at my companion's gear, and Treek is sitting in all like 128s. And yeah, okay. Oh yeah, maybe I need to. So I wonder if there's like something to do with it. We need to bring them up. You just kind of let them, just wither sometimes. And I think that is a way to kind of get them going again. And if you need it, how many other companions do you use other than Treek? I mean, really?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's actually kind of one of the things that I said to my guildies. I was saying, so when you get this, you're not equipped because they were like, but it's the ugliest armor you could possibly find, and I don't want Vet running around in that. I want her in the slave bikini, of course, and. But I said, no, of course you're not going to get it for Vet. You're getting it for Treek anyway, because that's
Treek
the only
bikini.
Yeah, well, she is. Have you seen Treek in a bikini? It's pretty amazing. I mean, Ewok bikinis. It's amazing. That's the fashion show. But yeah, it was pretty funny because I mean that's the only one you really get it for. But I think that one of the things that I run into, like you were saying there, Chuck, is that you don't necessarily keep the gear up on your companion all the time, and having 192s just right off the bat, I mean, even so, if it is extremely important, especially like on a tank, like on Treek, or on your melee tank as well. It's definitely something good to have, and I'm kind of glad they did it. What are your thoughts on it, Brian?
I think it's probably an attempt to compensate for how poorly most of the companions do. Because if you've got Chem Vol, he loses threat all the time. If you've got a lot of the tanks, they don't sustain threat even if they're in current level like 180, 186 gear. So they need to be over-geared in order to perform like the Jesus droid that takes you through the solo flashpoint.
The Jesus droid. Nothing can beat the Jesus droid.
No, I mean, and that was a lot of the response was that why can't all companions work as well as the Jesus droid? And I think this is kind of their answer to that. If your companions are way over geared, then they do better. Well, okay, so I'm happy for it. It doesn't bother me.
Do we want now? This is one of the questions that I have. As somebody that actually, I guess I'm a masochist or something. I like things to be a little bit more difficult. And whenever I run any of the flashpoints now, with the current way the Jesus droid is set up, I mean, it's a breeze. I just like pretty much.
It's laughable.
I pretty much just as long as I'm not standing in fire, and maybe even if I am standing in fire, I can survive the fight, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little bit of a challenge in these things, and I know that running hard modes, but then I also want a solo challenge as well. I don't want it to just be a walk in the park. I mean, you think that's the idea with this 192s, is that it will be less of a challenge for people, or do you think it's just because they haven't geared up or they don't gear up their companion?
I think it's part of when it becomes when it's part of story mode and it's part of the story that you have to run through as a class quest. You want it accessible to everybody. Not everybody's going to be running flashpoints or doing that, but if you want to get to the end of the game, you've got to go through that. So I think they want to make it so that everybody can get through it on a somewhat easy level, and then if you want to go back and play it, as an actual flashpoint, it's gonna play differently, because you're not gonna have the Jesus droid with you, and you're not gonna have your companion who's in 192 gear. Hopefully, you've got guildies who are in their best set of gear going with you, so it's gonna act a little bit differently. But I think that's I think it's just to make sure that the people that are playing it just for the story content are going to be satisfied with it, and it's not going to be a deterrent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. That makes sense. One of the other things that I do want to make mention of it, I'm not going to talk about this a whole lot because we kind of talked this thing to death already, really, over the last couple of weeks, because there's been, as everybody is probably aware, I'm sure the whole chat room is aware if they've watched any of the past shows. If not, go watch the last episode of the Republic. We talked about it the whole time. There was an exploit on the Reavers, and specifically the last boss, and that has now been fixed by I love the wording on this. This is amazing. It is no longer possible to loot or complete the weekly mission for the final boss of the Reavers without completing the operation.
That seems like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh, I have to complete this operation to get the weekly? No.
Flip the table. That's ridiculous. Unacceptable.
So yeah, go ahead.
A lot's been said about it. It was something that needed. It was definitely something that needed to happen. There's a lot of criticism about the time, how long it took to get there, and it's gotten way out of hand. And we're still kind of waiting to see what the actual consequences of taking advantage of the exploit are. Curious. I'd like to see them make a pretty swift and decisive action, but we'll see.
Well, real quick, what are your guys's what would you like to see done? Are you do you want everybody to be punished in some way, or what? I mean, because there's a lot of people that took advantage of this, and it's affected the economy, especially in like Harbinger. There's all sorts of just because the hilts and whatnot were on sale for stupidly ridiculous prices on the GTN. What kind of punishment would you like to see handed down?
Well, what's crazy is like our show posts on Thursday mornings, and we spent our entire show this week talking about this because we hadn't talked about it before. We were waiting to kind of see what the response was going to be from BioWare and see exactly what was going to happen and how it was all going to play out in the end. So we were just kind of waiting a little bit, and let's just say my take on it is not the most popular one.
You have a silent minority on your side.
The silent minority is the one that is charging through the nose for all those items on the GTN. They're the ones that are breaking the economy. But it's, I don't know. My thought is that it's part of the game. It's built into the game. If they didn't fix it, then take advantage while you can. So if there are consequences, they probably should have said so a couple weeks ago beforehand. And if you kept doing it, then that's when the consequences sort of kick in. But
so you're of the mind that hey, it's gone on way too long, and it just they should have said something sooner if they were going to do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's. And I mean it, and I'm not one that took advantage of it, so I have no skin in the game. They're not going to take anything away from me. I mean, I've got 20,000 credits on my best character, so I've got nothing to worry about in that respect, So there's nothing going on there. It's just when you put out an expansion and you've got the list of bugs that were in the 3.0.2, even you titled the episode, the real expansion. Yeah. It's basically sort of saying, oh yeah, by the way, we screwed up in a couple of spots, and how you can hold people accountable for that is like, it seems sort of weird. It seems kind of weird to me. Now, if it's happened after they acknowledge it and then say there's going to be consequences and it continues, then maybe that's where you can see it and see some kind of consequences coming into it. But I know that I'm in the minority in this case.
I don't know you're in as much a minority as you think, but. Yeah, if you, I'm assuming both of you guys talked about it on Bad Feeling Podcast. It came out today, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
go over to badfeelingpodcast.com and you can hear all about it from their point of view, which is, I'll have to listen to that after the show, definitely.
Yeah,
discussion.
I had the luxury of actually taking the moral high ground, which because I think, well, I do think you should not take advantage of exploits. You shouldn't get the reward for not playing the game.
Yeah.
And I would love to see all the ill-gotten loot deleted. I'd love to see suspensions, temporary suspensions, and the people that jumped between servers and were charging other players for the lockout. I want to see them. Banned.
I hear you. I mean, I'm on the fence with a lot of what kind of punishment should be handed out. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure actually about punishment, how that should be handled. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. Maybe some of the major contenders, some of the guys that started it, especially the guys that switched servers and things like that. Yeah, we should see some suspensions or something like that from them. But the biggest thing that I'm really concerned about is the economy itself and the effect that it's had on the game. And they said, Musco said in his post that they have tracked all of that. That they know where all the who did it, everybody that did it. They know how much what kind of loot they got. They know any kind of re-engineering that was done, and who has sold what as far as that's concerned. And I'd honestly I'd have to check, the exact numbers to see, okay, is it really feasible to do this? But I honestly would like to see all of that just removed from the game. Everybody get refunded on all that kind of stuff. But
But see, we've got documents on Lehman Brothers and Enron and everything else as well. So I mean, the trick to it is where's it gonna end?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. A Reddit poster who was disagreeing with me today basically had a good point though. It's like, who really was this affecting in the economy? It was affecting people who got millions of credits to do something with, and not your average Joe Schmo player, right? I mean, so it's affecting the rich players versus the poor players. I think it's socialism, man. I think it's bringing it all together, man. It's making it a level playing field for everybody, man. So I'm totally down with that. Bring the man down, bring those big bankers down, and cut them down to size. So I don't know. It just seems like that I understand that it's painful for people, but also I think if you know and you're that invested in the game, you kind of know where you stand, and you know that they're going to fix it. So you wait, you be patient, and it's going to all work itself out.
Yeah, sooner or later the economy should sort itself out, because it's a supply and demand thing. Those rare mats are going to dry up, so that part of the economy should right itself. There won't be as many hilts on the market. There won't be as many barrels on the market. So eventually it should normalize. So it's temporary disruption.
Yep.
Like we talked about, if you've got something that you were waiting to sell, some of those rare mats or whatever, you're just going to have to hold on to them for a little bit while longer.
Yeah, you're not going to have unemployed sentinels walking around fleet looking all sad. It's going to get better.
They are
better.
Their double lightsabers just dragging on the ground.
It'll get better. So I mean, I think it's an interesting topic, because I think what's going to happen is that we all know that this is not going to be the last exploit. This is not going to be the last hack. We all know that it's not going to be the only one. Even in what they just released today, I'm sure there's probably something else in there where somebody can find a loophole or something in there. Even though the last line of the updates was my favorite. Ship parts do not affect your bolster anymore, which is nice. But those are still going to happen.
Did I put that in the notes? Because that was oh no, I didn't. Oh, that was one of the most amazing things.
It's the very last line, like the very last line of the update, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious, great. All right, at least they got it. But I mean, that this is gonna happen again, so it's just laying that out as far as what it's gonna look like going forward. Like what are the consequences gonna be? And we all know that you can ban suspension, revoking those credits that you got, you can pull back the gear that you got, all that stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out here in the next few weeks.
Excellent. Yeah, if you want to, guys in the chat room, if you want to hear more of what these guys have to say about it, go to badfeelingpodcast.com. If you want to hear more of what I have to say about it, we talked about it last week on the Republic, and catch that on gamebreaker.tv. But for the next thing, one of the biggest issues that's kind of plagued this game like since the beginning, but it was especially bad when the expansion launched, is we had some major lag issues, especially on, I noticed it personally, and I have a pretty decent computer, I think, and I noticed it on Yavin. Like, I mean, I would hit a button, and then like 2 seconds later, I would swing my lightsaber, and and it just, so supposedly, now I think that they were pretty clear that this wasn't going to clear everything up, but they did. It says in the notes, made changes to address ongoing performance issues, including addressing GUI and general area performance. I have to say one thing about, this is anecdotal, so maybe it's just me. I opened up, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was like my cargo bay or something like that, which usually just pops open pretty quickly. I literally thought I didn't click on it. That, I mean, it was, I thought I hadn't clicked on it, and it didn't, because it wasn't opening up. And I clicked on it a few times, and what happened is it opened and closed and opened and closed and opened again. Because I had clicked on it so many times. I didn't know I clicked on it. And this was after they updated. This is 3.0.2. Have you guys noticed any issues, any changes, any performance in making things better, worse? What have you noticed with
Nothing in the last 2 days, but I mostly play on the smallest server. Jungma has, I'm pretty sure it has the smallest population of the North American servers, and I was seeing lag in every where I went in the game. I was on Voss doing just class missions, lag. I was in a war zone, lag. I was on Yavin, lag. So it's pretty systemic. I haven't played enough since Tuesday afternoon to notice. What I've been doing is just instance content, which hadn't been too bad beforehand. So I can't really say if there's been any improvement since then.
Well, it felt like it was bursting, like it was just burping a lot, you know, to where you'd be going along fine, everything's clicking along fine, and then all of a sudden you can't close your cargo anymore. What the hell, you know? And it seems like it would just hang for a second and then kick back in, and everything would be fine again. So it felt like a burstable thing that was happening, and I couldn't tell what. My first instinct is, my damn computer sucks, because I've never had a really good computer to game on, and I actually do now. So I'm like, well, wait a minute, my hardware's okay. So this has got to be something else going on here, and it seems to be, because I play a lot of war zones, a lot of PvP, and man, I'll tell you, you'll sit there and you'll hang for 2 seconds, and then it'll click back in and everything's back where it was. But I can only assume that it's happening for everybody, and that didn't really seem to happen before the expansion. And last night, yesterday's play, it was a little bit better, but you know, nothing. I didn't notice it lagging as much as I had before. So I mean, we'll see what happens as it progresses through the week.
Yeah, I had actually I had watched Snave, who's a couple, you know, I watched him PvP the other day. I had it on while I was working or something, because he's in the UK, so his evening is our middle of the day. So I was watching him PvP, and I could see the lag, which was weird. I mean, and he has a pretty decent computer, you know. And so I'm just kind of wondering, what did they do? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, did they change anything at all? I didn't, I don't know.
Yeah. Have you gotten the bug where the entire user interface just disappears and you have no buttons or no text anywhere, and you can't bring it back?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's delightful.
I haven't had that one happen to me yet.
Well, it was kind of funny. On Snave's stream, he was playing PvP with Musco and Courtney, and they're on a team together, and he's trying to carry them. And then all of a sudden, his UI disappears while he's playing with the devs.
Nice.
Less than ideal, I would say.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next thing, I would like to talk about our sponsor here today. We are sponsored by Audible. Let me go to there just so you can see what's happening. If you go to gboffer.com/audible, you can get a free trial, and you get a free book. And today, I would actually like to recommend a book that came out recently. That is, drive that again. There we go. That is Tarkin, Star Wars Tarkin, and obviously written by James Luceno, I think is how you say his name, and it is about one of the evilest people in the Star Wars universe, next to probably Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. We are talking about Grand Moff Tarkin. He is the guy that blew up Alderaan, and I know, right? Misunderstood. He's totally misunderstood.
He's a sad clown.
Let's listen to this just for a little bit.
Furious among Tarkin's peers in all branches of the military. Tarkin had failed to carry out an important mission in the Western Reaches. He had quarreled with the Emperor or his chief henchman, Darth Vader. Or his reach had simply exceeded his grasp, and he was paying the price for naked ambition.
that is a little bit of Tarkin. Obviously, I mean, he's read by an English guy, so you know he's evil. If you go to gboffer.com/audible and get something for free and support this show at the same time. We really appreciate Audible for sponsoring us. And on to the rest of the show. Let's talk about what we saw, what I was starting to show on Dolphy. Actually, Dolphy took the screen. If you don't go to Dolphy.net and you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, you're playing the game wrong. I mean,
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. You're clearly doing it wrong. Because she puts up some really awesome stuff. I really hope she's at the cantina because I want to meet her. Because at any rate, she does some great stuff. And one of the things she does, she always gets all the screenshots from the packs. And what we're looking at here, I think you guys can see it. We're looking at the Acolyte Shadow pack that just dropped on Tuesday on my server. Since my server was down, it took several hours for this to actually drop, but it did come out on Tuesday eventually. And we're looking at the Fearsome Harbinger armor set. This is kind of this is one of the less rarer sets. This is unique. Have you guys seen something like this before?
I'm trying to figure out what the thing is with the shoulder plates.
The shoulder pads, yeah.
Like the stuff that, like almost all the stuff that's came out has like these shoulder plates on it now. And
it's a Sith thing. It's so you don't ever say "I don't know" and shrug your shoulders, because you'll kill yourself if you do that.
Just stab yourself in the face with it.
Yeah, it's just it's got to be what it is.
There's some cool pieces in there though. Like I love the helm for that one. I think that helm looks really awesome. But also, what was the other one that I really liked? Do you know if this helmet fits under a hood? Because if that goes under a hood, that's amazing. Oh, that'd be rad. That would be rad.
I have to check that out. We know that. Where is it? There's another one in here that is very similar. I'm going to scroll past a couple of them. That does go under. Shea
Vizsla's looks really awesome.
Yeah. This one, the Revenite Pursuer armor set. That chest piece is extraordinarily expensive on my server to get off the GTN. Everything else is like 30,000 credits maybe, and then the chest piece is like 4 million. But
they put the word Revenite on it and add another couple zeros to anything.
Exactly. But this one, the helmet goes underneath the hood, and we actually have a shot of just the helmet right in the center here. That's an interesting helmet. It's one of those no eyes. Like you can't see the eyes. Not there's no cutout. It's saying that here's the eyes. It's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting style choice. I mean, we see that on a couple of the NPCs. Like Darth Barris has like the smiley face with no eyes on it.
Right.
It's I dig it. And there's a couple helms that are similar, but I don't know if they're custom or moddable.
Yeah. You mean the ones that like they drop from something, they're greens or blues or something like that. Yeah, I don't know that I've actually seen this helmet before. This is new, because I'm thinking of even on the NPCs and stuff. I don't remember seeing it, but it's pretty awesome. I also like this one a little bit too. This is more Arabic, kind of Arabian Nights kind of look with the turban on the head.
It's gonna look great on Tatooine.
It totally will. This is the Nomad armor set.
Indeed.
It should be dirty as well. That's the only thing I'm not
that's what I was
thinking.
It's a little too white.
Right.
Like it should have some sand, like some
Right.
some scoring.
It's all like
scoring on it.
It's all tore up and stuff, which is cool. I'm down with that, but it's not dirty at the same time.
I actually like the way the Shea Vizsla armor looks on the male character. That actually looks really good on the male character for some reason. I don't know if it'll look good on my fat guy. I'm a big guy, but yeah, I think it looks really awesome on the male character that she's got there.
Yeah, that's go ahead.
And that's your classic bounty hunter helm, with the side piece and the visor.
But it's not as wonky as some of that stuff that you can craft with like the 4 things that stick out the back.
How about the fan that's on the back?
Yeah,
that's my favorite one. The one that's giant.
Or the pipes, all the pipes that come around.
Yeah. Although
slicker than that.
Although the Cobra Commander one is pretty cool. The one with like that's completely just black. That one was pretty cool. But the thing is, here's the thing. This is the lore junkie coming out of me a little bit in regards to Shea Visla's outfit in general. Let me just say that it's not necessarily their design or this model, but it's the design of the armor. It doesn't look Mandalorian because it doesn't have any form of T-visor at all, which is kind of like signature Mandalorian. And Shea Vizsla is a Mandalorian. She's a clan leader, and yeah.
Well, I see where they tried to attempt it, where it's more of like a pie visor, because it's got the 2 slits down the front instead of the one.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe when they were designing Shea Vizsla, if they weren't sure whether or not she was going to be Mandalorian, so they just did something that was kind of generic bounty hunter.
I don't know. Between her, she has grown out of the Mandalorians. Has surpassed it.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of these are some good RP outfits. I mean, no matter what, there's. Because the other one is the formal
the formal militant.
Oh yeah, the formal. Yeah, this one right here. This one is pretty awesome. I'm not real fond of the hair on especially on the women, because that's not really hair. That's like a metal plate, is what it. It's kind of hard to see from here, but yeah, that's actually a metal plate. That's not hair.
That's armor. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think she has brain damage, and so therefore she has a metal plate in her head. But
see, RP, totally
RP. That's right.
Well, I think the epaulets are a nice touch on the chest piece.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've seen a whole lot like that.
Yeah. One of the things is, and I haven't seen this in game, is what is this badge? This badge looks like a Republic badge. To be perfectly honest, this one on her helmet or hat, whatever you want to call it, is that one the same? Because the former one, now Saul's armor, the one that's the red one, that's similar to this, although obviously not exactly the same. It has an Imperial insignia, or not insignia, but badge, I guess, on it. So I was wondering if this one was maybe they just made a Republic one as well, just to kind of offset Saul's armor. I don't know. What else we got that I have missed? We have these guys. Can these pop out? Yeah. We have
sexy mounts.
Yeah. That is a funky mount. That is a that's a Kim lizard. Okay, that's from Hutta.
Yeah, with blinders on.
Yeah.
That looks like a mutant. I tried that.
This one's my favorite.
No comment there. I'll leave that one alone.
This one's my favorite because those wings flap. It looks so amazing.
Oh, it's animated?
Yeah,
when it moves, it's actually pretty cool looking because they swing in and out as you're going. It's kind of neat looking.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, this one's actually also you get this as a reward for something. I forget what it is off the top of my head. But yeah, it's very similar to that one. This one is our Zerka car.
See, I think with the formal militant outfit and then the Zerka car, they're just like breeding a whole new police force inside the game.
That's right. And get a blue-black dye, and you're all set. Yeah. You're good to go. Done. You're RP all over the place as police officers.
Yeah.
These were cool. These came out in the last pack as well, or something very similar to it. The little like hover tricycles.
Yeah.
Hover or big wheels. They're big wheels. They're big wheels that hover. That's what it is.
The green machine.
Yes.
And I think what is this thing? I don't even know what this is.
That's the ice crawler dude, right?
Yeah.
Where do you find him at? Is he?
Don't know.
Is that an?
I want to say he's a creature on Hoth. Is he not? Like a.
I don't remember. Oh, you know what? I bet you. No, he's on Ilum. They're on Ilum. I know what they are.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I remember you pass one as you're doing your dailies. You go around the corner and there's one sitting right there. Yeah, that's what that is. It's just, the armor threw me off a little bit. And then
this one is the next one though.
Yeah. These guys.
The Varenticus.
This is.
I like that they're bringing back big mounts. Like this is probably on the same scale as the Rancor.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. This one is the same. This is the same as you would find on Voss, or very similar. I think the ones on Voss have crystals instead of these bone spiky things coming out here. Yeah. The jet ski. Somebody mentioned jet ski in the chat room. There's our it's amazing jet ski.
That's you're talking about Cobra Commander. That's the Emperor from G.I. Joe.
That's right. That's exactly what that is. Let me see. This guy, you know what? I'm not fond of this model, and mostly the color scheme. I like the way you sit in it and everything, but I'm just not. It's almost like Darth Maul's speeder bike that he had. But horrible coloring. Sorry, BioWare, you lose on this one.
They can't all be winners.
They can't all be winners. What did you guys think of the weapons, real quick?
Meh.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it.
Yeah, the assault cannons. I mean, they always look kind of cool because they're assault cannons. But other than
what were the last set before this? Were the Zerka ones? The kind of the big green and yellow ones, like they're like really.
The gigantic one. Yeah. They had huge ends.
The sniper rifle with the spinny thing in the middle of it. And all that. So. This going.
Yeah, this is nothing. That's right. The assault. Excuse me. The assault cannon had 2 assault cannons coming off it that would spin around. This is like. This doesn't even come close.
The handgun is pretty impressive, though.
The handgun's all right. It looks like kind of a Desert Eagle sort of model that they lengthened the barrel on.
And it depends. If you like a lightsaber that is trim and slim, like those are pretty. The lightsabers are pretty slim on those as well. Like if you look at them, there's not much to them. So I mean, if you like just a straight double-bladed or whatever, there's not a whole lot of ornament to them. So I'm kind of an ornament guy. I want flary stuff and things.
Yeah, this is Megatron.
Actually Megatron.
Pretty close, yeah.
He actually.
If it transforms into the Jesus droid, I'll take it too.
Here's another thing. We kind of mentioned this last week. That they had tricolor lightsaber crystals, and although I see the white, the blue, and the purple, but is this just a way to damn, we ran out of colors to use, so let's make 3. Is it? What do you guys think about that? In general, what do you think of the tricolor crystal?
I like that they gave something for Artifice to do.
Right?
But they're expensive! Oh my gosh, they're so expensive!
They're 10 of the rare 11 mats.
Yeah.
But aesthetically, it doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
No, I prefer like the dark center glow, like the black, the black orange, the black greens, like those. Those are probably my favorite crystals out of all of them. So this actually kind of, with the white in the center, it kind of whitewashes all the color out of it.
That's it. It's really what about Bob in chat room says that about the pistols, that 2 of them together would look like 2 Colt 45s. It's pretty close. Yeah.
Except you can't lift them. You're shooting at everybody's feet instead.
It's like Martin Short in Three Amigos when they hand him the giant. You can't even lift it off the ground.
That's right. I gotta play these emotes because they're kind of funny.
Oh, dude, the emotes are hilarious.
Yes.
I love the emotes.
Almost as good as Thrash. Really, almost as good as Thrash.
Yeah, this is the one man. Does this make noise? And just not. Does it play music? Because I haven't heard this yet. I haven't heard anybody have it.
I haven't seen it in game yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in game yet.
I'm assuming it makes music, and they just Dolphy for whatever reason had the music sound down, which it makes sense because you usually don't have music on whenever you're recording.
Yeah, but they put the sound in for the speeders.
Well, that's ambient noise, or that's sound effects. That's not music.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, and this one's fun, but this isn't the cool one.
Yeah, I like how he watches it go though. That's
no, that's me at the end of every Warzone is what that is. No, dog it. Oh man. Shucks.
Oh, this is it.
Yes.
You have no idea how many credits that sells for on my server. I think that they sell for almost 1 million credits each.
I actually got one of those, and I just had to keep it for myself.
Gosh.
I seriously can't wait to see, like, when you combine that with some other emotes, what you can come up with, because there's got to be like some weird, interesting combination of something that makes that look really nasty. That's a weird one.
Well, it just cracks me up that one is hilarious, and they actually nailed the movements. They nailed the musculature, but then you look at Thrash, which looks completely X-rated and inappropriate.
Well, there's not a lot of headbangers over at BioWare.
I guess not.
If they had a hair spin thing.
I'm sorry, I just got the image of somebody doing that right next to somebody who's doing Thrash.
Yeah,
that's
right
what I'm saying.
I can't.
See, if you could be a Rishi and do no bones.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody.
That's great.
Oh, and do you guys? I just finished my stronghold. One of my strongholds. I'm starting on another one because I don't know. Again, I hate myself apparently, and.
Come on, I'm the guild decorator, so let's not even go.
Are you really? Because we should share tips, because I'm you have to come over to Ebon Hawk and check out my my drum and cost place, and I'll come over to your server.
All right,
and check out yours.
Do it.
But anyway, anything on this list, because we have a smuggler, a hollow sign, the drunken droid, which that's not what that looks like.
No, it's got like a there's a picture of it somewhere with it expanded. I can't think of what it. I looked it up, and it actually looks pretty neat, because we've got a whole host of. I've got a little cantina running in our stronghold, our guild stronghold, that's got the clinky glasses in it, and like all the stuff on the wall. So it's got like signage and stuff that'll fit in perfectly.
The only one that I have like fallen in love with, which I don't know if you can actually see this on the screen. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see it a little bit. Is this the Naga Sadao shadow statue? I got 2 of those, even though they were super expensive, because they're amazing looking. They are huge. They go in the centerpiece spot, and they are. If you guys remember the wrong screen. There we go. If you remember the Emperor statue, the one that you could fit on the platform on your drum and costs, it's that big. That's how big those things are, and it's amazing. I got 2 of them, even though it like broke me. Anyway, that was the one for me. Was there any others that stood out to you there, Chuck or Brian? Either one. Chuck's the decorator, so I'm turning to Chuck for that.
Sure.
Not yet. I mean, a few of them are kind of neat looking. I always like to see the local fauna or flora, I guess it would be. Local flora from each of the planets. That's always nice to see, because I like to add those to different rooms, and I gotta make sure that my room is themed in the
exactly
Rishi, or themed in the Yavin. So I mean, you have a consistency throughout there. So I mean, it's nice to see those things kind of pop up. Am I really talking about strongholds?
Yes, you are, and we have this recorded.
Yes.
You're not walking away from that. Sorry, man.
No, there was a time when I'm like, I'm never gonna do anything like that, and yeah, now I'm obsessed with it. So yeah, it's pretty awful. Why do you do ops? So I can get drops, so I can get more decorations.
Exactly. We call them couches. It sounds better. You know, one of the enemies might be carrying a couch. That's what's. So, a couple other things that just we can touch on here with patch 3.0.2 is the Jawa mats. Now all of the grade 11 purples and blues and greens that were not there before, you can now get mats with Jawa junk. So now all of my purples that I was getting from missions just tanked because of that. Yeah. I was making money. Oh my gosh, I was making so much money selling like midlith crystals and adaptive circuitry, and now I'm making nothing.
Right.
Midlith,
and you can
go ahead.
You combine that with the Acolyte slot machine that grants Jawa junk now.
Yeah.
And it's what, 500 credits a pull, and apparently the Jawa junk are not rare at all. So between those two and the Jawas selling the purple 11s, they've just negated any reason to do underworld trading or treasure hunting at all. So it's kind of a bummer if that was part of your money-making scheme, which it was one of mine too.
Yeah. I mean, I made. I mean, that's how I paid for my stronghold. For goodness sake, is through. I mean, I spent like, I don't know. I had to be about 7 million just on decorating my stronghold, and that's how I did it. I did it by selling mats and stuff.
I could see that. You know, that's pretty good. You know,
it goes quick. I know.
Yeah, it is totally quick, too quick. And just to make mention of this real quick, Shea Vizsla now recognizes that you're a Mandalorian.
Sort of.
So have you played it? I haven't done it because
I did this on my bounty hunter. I'm one of my bounty hunters in solo mode last night. Yeah. And what they did to change that is they took out all the conversation options for that first piece of dialogue. So because you used to have 3 choices and, you know, let's duel to the death. Oh, you're not a Mandalorian. They just cut that out. So your bounty hunter doesn't speak at all for the first few minutes of dialogue. It's all Shea Vizsla, and she says, okay, Mandalorian, let's do this, and let's have a duel or whatever. Yeah, so that's the fix. They just cut out any of the options that don't let you be a Mandalorian.
Great.
It's fixed.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to talk about here, since a couple of us are going to be there, one of us is not. I'm not going to name any names, but he has a really, really, really long beard.
Son of a.
is PAX South. They are having a community cantina at the convention center on Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And unfortunately, if you don't have a ticket at least to Friday for PAX, you won't be able to get in. So, although to be fair though, there are still PAX tickets available for Friday. So even if you live in the area and they're like, I don't have a ticket yet, you can go and get one. You go to paxsite.com, you can get one. And I believe you can get them at the. You won't be able to get them at the door, but you can order them and then pick them up at the door. You know, they don't have to be mailed to you. So, at any rate, what are we? We talked about this last week with Red and Heather, but I do want to ask you guys, what's going to go on there? What do you expect to see from PAX? Are we looking for any kind of big reveals or anything like that? What do you think there, Brian?
I'm looking for a roadmap. It was January 2014 when they laid out the development cycle and when we should expect all the big updates for calendar year 2014. So I'm looking for a calendar year 2015 roadmap. They've already laid out today some of the PvP ranked seasons. There's going to be no preseason between 4 and 5. So they've already started kind of hinting at the development cycle, going to be about 12 weeks. I don't forget how long. They've started hinting at how long the development cycle is going to be, and so I'd like to see that fleshed out. And obviously, with the current climate, I want a clear definition between bug and exploit. That's all I really want to hear from the canteen at this point. Are those two things.
What about you, Chuck? What do you expect to see or want to see from the cantina?
I'm going to be in the middle of the Caribbean, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I wish I could be there, but I don't know. I'm with Brian though. I think the roadmap is something that definitely is way important, because there's so much stuff that happened last year to the game. I mean, you think about all the stuff that 2014 brought as far as a new expansion, strongholds, so many things happen. And what are we in store for in 2015? Is it going to rival what happened last year, or are we looking at what are we looking at? And I'm sure there will be a couple of conversations and beers to be had about exploits and that sort of thing. I got a feeling that somebody's going to be crying in their Lone Star about
it. We know that they kind of said that they wouldn't give any big reveals, or at least announce any big reveals. But what do you think they might let some slip? And if so, what are you hoping they'll slip? No,
I'd like to hear at least I'd like to hear at least where they're taking the story and when we're going to start seeing more of where we left off at the end of Yavin 4. I want to know when we get the next installment.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the biggest thing for me, is where are we headed as far as the storyline is concerned. I mean, it's really I want to know about timeline versus when are we going to see the next PvP map, when are we going to see the next raid, those kinds of things, and kind of that laid out. But I also want to see where's this story headed? Are we are we immediately going to start facing off against the Emperor again? Oh my, I hope not. I really hope not. But I want to know what kinds of things as far as the story is happening. Do you have anything?
Well, do you think that teaser, the statue of Naga Sada? Sorry, do you think the statue of Naga Sada is a teaser at all for what's to come?
You know what? That's a good question. I mean, because we do know, and I know that that the writers are fans of Naga Sadao and Exar Kun, because both Naga Sadao and Exar Kun are kind of on there on Yavin. Their spirits are on Yavin. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question, and I hope we do find out something. Some sort of hints. I'm going to sit down with the writers and personally and try to hash some things out, maybe give them a couple ideas of which directions they can go. And
hey, while you're there, will you also tell them to make a few more GSF maps? Please, would you do that for me? Because I'm dying over here on GSF.
Yeah, they do need. That's
PvP and
that's a hard thing. GSF is such a hard thing to talk about, because they said, well, we don't have anything planned for that in like the last cantina. So yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking. I mean, because they did spend so much time on it, and there's so many people that liked it, and now they're just kind of whatever,
And I still enjoy it. Like I still do it, and I still enjoy it. And it's like, oh man, come on, there's gonna be something there. But then I see like what they did on I was playing through Rishi again last night. I go, oh yeah, look at this. We get to blow these starships out of the air with the turrets on the ground. It's like maybe just maybe there's going to be something tying surface to space or something. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws at this point, man. I'm like, come on, just give me something, please.
Anything.
Anything at all.
Well, Brian's always made a big thing about PvE GSF, how it would be really awesome to see like a PvE version of GSF somehow. And I'm just trying to think about the they may not make the announcement this early in the year, but they're going to have to do some big stuff in 2015 to even get close to what happened last year. So we fingers crossed it's going to have something to do with a starship in it.
Yeah, well, they have to stay with the trend, because 2015 is going to be a big year for Star Wars in general. Yeah. So, obviously the movie coming out, I saw one of the guys I follow on Twitter, Alan Shot First, his wife bought Star Wars branded apples, if you can believe that. So, produce with Darth Vader on it. They have to be able to keep up with that.
Nothing is more evil than apples.
An apple a day keeps the Vader away.
Something along that line. That is, again, let me reiterate, that's going to be at PAX South. That is on January 23rd. We are not going to be here on the 22nd because I'm going to actually be traveling to Texas at that time. So there will be no Republic on the next Thursday, but I will be at PAX on January 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Community Cantina in the convention center. And but that is, am I right in saying that is not the only thing that is happening? The only Community Cantina. Have we got some other stuff going on, Brian?
For a while, couldn't decide if I would be there for the official one Friday because I kind of balked at paying $30 for a free event because I wasn't planning on going to PAX, and then so I kind of had it in my head, well, maybe I'll go down Saturday because everybody's still going to be in town. So what I'm thinking I'll do is maybe 10 p.m. is a little bit early in Texas, so probably try to put together some sort of little after party after the official cantina. Maybe go get some Tex-Mex and margaritas.
That'll be great. Yeah, if you're in the area, look for all of us. Well, not Chuck, but look for me or Brian. Heather's going to be there. I think Red's going to be there as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he confirmed that. Did he ever confirm that he's actually going to be there? Anyway, if he's there, look for him.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter and figure that out. But I'm going to be there definitely, and Brian's going to be there. So look us up if you're at PAX. Stop and say hi. I mean, seriously, feel free to do that. If you want to, let me start my music here. Dang, what happened to my music? I had music going. There we are. All right. If you want to see more of Brian or hear more of Brian, actually, you can go to badfeelingpodcast.com or follow him on Twitter at badfeelingpdcst. And what's going on over the Bad Feeling podcast, other than talking about exploits?
We're getting ready for our 1-year anniversary, if you can believe that. It's been 12 short months since we put our first episode on air, so we've maybe got some things in store.
Excellent.
Maybe.
Excellent.
Or maybe just, wiener and fart jokes.
It could be that. That'd be just as appropriate. That if you want to talk to Chuck on Twitter, follow him at Bearded Ape on Twitter. He's also on the Bad Feeling Podcast at badfeelingpodcast.com.
Indeed.
And if you are looking for more of what I do, you can follow me on Twitter at Shadow, SHADDOE. I also write the Hyperspace Beacon on Massively every other Tuesday, which I just had one come out last Tuesday, so you can catch that on Massively. I also am at hyperspacebeacon.com, where I talk about Star Wars stuff. Today, I read, which I don't have the comic with me, the new Star Wars comic from Marvel came out. I talked about that and gave my review of that. And by the way, it's probably not as good as you think it's going to be. Anyway, sorry to disappoint you. And I'm also here every single day on Gamebreaker TV. I write the news for them. And if you want to follow Gamebreaker TV on Twitter, go to Gamebreaker TV. At Gamebreaker TV. Yes, that's it. And this has been The Republic. We are here every Thursday, except for next Thursday, at 6:30 p.m. PST. Thanks for tuning in. And, of course, we're brought to you by Audible. If you want a free book, go to gboffer.com/audible. And I'll see you next week.